Good evening, my name is Cheyenne Osborne. Feminism is a topic I'm sure you all are familiar with to some degree, as it is often portrayed in the news and many social media platforms. Most people, when talking about feminism, refer to how it affects women. Feminism, by definition, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, is defined as being the advocacy of the equality of the sexes and the establishment of the political, social, and economic rights of the female sex. The definition does have a lot to do with the female sex, but have you ever wondered, how does feminism impact men? Today, I would like to discuss with you the way feminism can positively and negatively impact men. To start off, I would like to first look at the positives. To do so, I must first introduce you to the term toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity, as defined by Jared Sexton of the New York Times, is a hardening shell meant to protect men from the disappointment and travails of life, a self-delusion that preserves them from feeling overwhelmed by the odds against them. Toxic masculinity can cause men to be unable to form deep, meaningful bonds with men and women. It can also cause them to be seen as overly aggressive, as toxic masculinity is being overly masculine, and many people believe aggressiveness to be a masculine trait. In feminism, the stereotypes of aggressive being masculine is not supposed to be present, as it is an equality of sexes. Both sexes can be aggressive. Toxic masculinity is also stipulated by gender norms that portray being feminine as weak. For example, the phrases "crying is for girls" or "don't be a sissy" both refer to being feminine as being weak. In feminism, once again, such gender norms aren't part of the movement of feminism. Neither sex is defined as being weaker or stronger than the other. Both sexes are equal. Let's move on to the negative impacts of feminism on men. I'm sure you are aware that some people believe feminism is only for women. On Twitter, for example, Sarah Jones from the New Republic says that the users that are the loudest, angriest, most simplifying voices are elevated and rendered normal or mainstream. Miss Jones is referring to feminists on Twitter that are belittling the groups they believe have cited them, men. When people are angry, they tend to lash out against whatever group has upsetted them or belief has slighted them in any way. These people are lashing out against men and are further pushing the topic of masculinity upon them. The stereotypes of being over aggressive and not emotional, which are damaging to the male psyche. This impacts men negatively because it's further damaging them through furthering these toxic behaviors onto them. Today, I've talked about how feminism can negatively and positively impact men in some ways. I've talked to you about what toxic masculinity is and how it can affect men and their relationships with other people. Next time you hear people talk about feminism, please remember, it doesn't just affect women, it affects the men too.